Hello everyone. In case you've been living under a rock and you didn't watch the most recent Nintendo Direct, then let me tell you that Nintendo has announced that Game Boy Advance games are already being added to the Nintendo Switch Online. Right now there's already 6 games, and they've also announced a few games that are coming soon. So today I wanted to tell you guys my 3 favorite GBA games, 3 games that I'm hoping are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online. Feel free to leave me a comment saying what are your 3 most wanted GBA games. Side note, before I get into that, I do want to say that I loved the GBA. I love the Super Nintendo, I love the cartoon pixel type graphics. And when Sony announced the PSP, I was actually really sad because I thought that that was going to be the end of beautiful 2D games forever. Obviously, luckily that did not happen. Even today we still get, beautiful cartoon 2D graphics. But yeah, I was really scared for the GBA and Nintendo when Sony announced the PSP. But thankfully, the GBA had some really great games, so, they kept going strong. Okay, so now let's jump in with my 3rd favorite GBA game. Okay, in the number 3 spot, we have Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town, and also Harvest Moon More, Friends of Mineral Town, which is like the boy version and the girl version. These games, they came out during a golden era of Harvest Moon games. At this era, they had Harvest Moon 64, Harvest Moon Back to Nature, and then Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. And these 3 games, they're all really great. This game in particular, it's really good because the characters are great, there's a ton of secrets, the gameplay is really rewarding, and you can spend a lot of time in this game. Then in the number 2 spot, we have Pokemon Leaf Green and Pokemon Fire Red. I have loved the Pokemon games since Red and Blue came out on the original Game Boy. I like some of the recent Nintendo Switch Pokemon games. However, Fire Red and Leaf Green are probably the peak games in the Pokemon series. These 2 games, in case you didn't know, they're the original games, Pokemon Red and Blue, but they're remade with upgraded graphics, and there's more endgame content, and there's egg raising in it. To me, the original games, they were really close to perfect, but I really like hatching eggs and that whole aspect, so the fact that this game is the original games, upgraded graphics, new content, you can hatch eggs, this is the perfect Pokemon game. I would say there's a good chance that these games will come to the Nintendo Switch Online service in America. I'm really crossing my fingers hoping that we get the Pokemon games. If they release Red and Blue and Yellow first, I'll still play those because I liked those games as well. But I really, really want Fire Red and Leaf Green the most. Okay, and my number 1 most wanted GBA game is Fire Emblem and the Binding Blade. Okay, this game, it was never officially released in America, but the gameplay is very similar to Fire Emblems 7 and 8. If you played them in America, the first one was just called Fire Emblem, and the other one was called Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones. This game was never officially released in America. However, there are people who have translated the entire game, so you can play it, several different ways. But there's no official translation of this game, so I'm really hoping that they release it in America. This game, actually, the Japanese release has already been confirmed, so I'm definitely going to be playing it in Japanese, but I do also really want them to translate it into English and release it on the American eShop. Also, if they were to do a special edition, I will try to get that special edition, because as I said, this is my favorite Fire Emblem game in the entire series. The Fire Emblem series is a little bit like the Final Fantasy series in that everybody kind of has their favorite, especially now that the game has had some games that have radically changed gameplay dynamics. But for me, Fire Emblem 6 will always be my favorite because the game gives you a lot of characters very early on, and so it's really fun and really interesting to build your characters in different ways and have different groups each playthrough. Yeah, and in Fire Emblem 6, I love some of the characters. I love Lilina, I love Sophia, I love Roy. I really like a lot of the characters in this game. So if you followed a lot of my videos, then today's list probably was not a surprise to you, although maybe the order might have been a surprise to you. Yeah, I love Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons games. So yeah, these are my top 3 most anticipated games. I hope that all of them come to the Nintendo Switch Online. However, I do want to tell you guys about a little secret before I end today's video in case some of these games don't come to the American Nintendo Switch Online. So Fire Emblem 6 is my favorite Fire Emblem game, and I really want it to come to America, but because I like this game so much, I was thinking that even if it's just released on the Japanese eShop, maybe I'll just get a second Nintendo Switch Online account and, be able to play it that way. Then I looked up online and I found out that all you have to do is get a free Japanese account, add it to your Nintendo Switch. Then, if you have the NSO in America, you can just play the Japanese games for no extra cost. This blew me away. I was so shocked because that Nintendo Switch Online in Japan, they already have some extra games such as Harvest Moon, Super Nintendo. But yeah, the games are going to be locked into Japanese. You can't play them in English, but, you can still play them. So that's a big plus in my book. But yeah, then I was like, yes, Harvest Moon 64, here I come. But then I realized, oh no, even though it was announced months ago, they still haven't released it on the Nintendo Switch Online yet. So I don't know what is taking them so long, but hopefully Harvest Moon 64 comes soon to the Japanese Nintendo Switch Online. But yeah, if you don't know how to make a Japanese account, I also have another video where I talk about that. I'll put the link in the description, and maybe I'll put it up here somewhere. And also, don't forget to leave me a comment saying what are your most wanted GBA games for the Nintendo Switch Online service, and I'll see you guys next time.